And three of us, what we're doing is we're trying to help to build this startup ecosystem from bottom to the top. So there's lots of effort from the government, of course, to help do that. Like obviously there is like it's like always business interest to help. But Malaga is in a transition phase. Let's put it this way. Just like 15 years ago, it was like a, let's say, fisherman's village in a way. But then
Hmm.
investments from like lots of people, including Antonio Banderas, started transforming the city. So right now, let's say there are some obvious growing pains, like businesses coming in. So we got this Parco Tecnológico, which is kind of this area outside of the city where like big companies are landing. Or you've got right here in the center of the El Puerto, we got Google, and like it's growing. So there are lots of people coming in, large companies are landing in Malaga, and it obviously affects the city and the price and everything. So there is this huge transition phase, and there are different groups of people. So on one side, you get students who are teaching, who are studying in Malaga University, who aspire to be startup founders as well. They have entrepreneurship faculty. It's amazing. Then you have like IT people from Spain originally working here, but then you get all the expats who are coming in. And then you have some people with money, VCs, angel investors, but they're mostly concentrated in Marbella. So let's say there is an interesting regional setup, and like here you got talent in Malaga, you have government support, but then there is Marbella with their own goals and ideas, and like most of let's say VC money sits there. So what we're trying to do is to identify and highlight all of the islands available, and then make bridges. So there are huge gaps that need to be covered, and this is what we're trying to do. So far, the progress has been that we've united, I think we're the largest English-speaking tech and business community in entire Andalusia, and we have about 1,400 people in just one of our communities,
Hmm.
and like we have a really huge WhatsApp chat. This year we're holding about 110 events throughout the year, which is kind of like at least one event every single
That's a
week.
serious cadence.
Yeah, every week something is happening. It's networking, it's education. And like we have this kind of umbrella which is called Malaga Startups, and here we have a community of people. This is the huge one. And we have this community of ideas. So what we do, we host twice per year Techstars startup weekend Malaga, where like we have about 50 to 60 people all the time coming in with ideas, and
Mhm.
by the end of Sunday they come up with some pitch. There is a pitch they can present to actual investors, and like people, it forces people to think in a startup way, and like it's really quick education. It's amazing.
Get
So
it
this
back to first principles and then rapid
exactly,
iteration. Like
absolutely.
let's figure out a use case, let's go figure out the pitch, and then you can turn that into a hackathon of like go build that thing now.
Yeah, and there are like some like revelation moments, like the guys they have pivoted their original idea of like new walking maps app, and they made it a safety app for women. And like their like CEO, the guy is pitching, and the question from mentor is like, okay, you've pitched, why is a man telling how to be safe for women? You've got like two experts like immediately involved with that. Just let them, and like they completely reworked their pitch. Like there were like two girls speaking from their heart, from their problems, and like it was way more powerful at the end. And you see how people shift their thinking, how they educate on the fly under stress. This is amazing. So yeah, jumping back, this umbrella, I community of people, community of ideas. Then we have community of companies like startups. So we are representatives of Startup Grind, which is I guess the largest world network of startups. So we hold a regular, like at least monthly events on how to educate people. So we have the ex-CEO Startup Wise guys presenting on our last event, and just talking about equity together with one of like super successful Danish entrepreneurs. Like we try to involve people, and we have some real people with real experience talking to startup founders or like soon to be startup founders, and teaching them some real knowledge from the streets. So then the first community would be an investor community, which we're growing, where we're connecting people who are actually investing their own money. And like then we have like all of it. So from this life cycle of startups, you're getting from idea two people, establishing a company, getting funding, and then hopefully, like we keep getting these guys. Like if anyone makes an exit here, they just sell the company and they buy three villas in Marbella. So what we're trying to achieve is to build consciousness, let's say, so that they get two villas and invest the money from the third one into startups. So like it starts working as a like proper,
Let's
yeah.
keep building the flywheel so they can have the yachts in the port.
Exactly, exactly. So yeah, like this is what we're trying to achieve, and Malaga needs that. We definitely see that Malaga needs that, and I mentioned how like we're trying to help identify transparency is a huge issue because like I just randomly met a guy and he's like, oh yeah, I'm working for this aerospace company. We have 400 people in the office outside of Malaga right here. You're like, what? It's
Aerospace in Malaga.
yeah, absolutely. It's I think it's one of two major directions I'd say for region. It's aerospace and agri-tech, and like you have everything else around. But like how? Yeah, it's apparently Europe is trying to catch up to SpaceX successes, and like there are some interesting things. But this company specifically, they're building satellites, so it's really you don't know about it. So what we're trying to do is to highlight everything that's happening, like connect people, and like we're trying to be this ultimate connectors. So that's kind of the state of things as they are right now. And to what you're saying, like Sevilla and Marbella. So let's say Marbella, they having like their own plan. They're developing the city.
Mhm.
They want to like invite founders. But again, we don't want to have yet another silo on the map. We really we try to involve them and like we work closely, like we're working with one of the best co-working spaces over there, so our community will be together with them organizing hopefully a really interesting event about medtech. So we're inviting some top investors about from medtech in Spain, and we'll have like a couple of keynote speakers, we'll have a startup pitches, we'll have a roundtable all about our specific niche, like domain industry. And like people like just look, there are people here who are interested, talk, because this is what's missing. And like the plan is to keep building interesting unique events and use that to connect people and just like make sure this flywheel is spinning.
And so the
So
goal here is not to build like another ecosystem. The goal is to build a flywheel that helps all of the ecosystems,
yeah.
but from Malaga.
Yeah, absolutely. Like let's say, of course, we want this region of Spain to grow. We want Malaga to grow and like get better and everything. So like we focus on, let's say, ideally an ecosystem of entire Andalusia. But of course, there are lots of players. You mentioned Sevilla, for example, and they had this expo like about 25 something years ago. Like was crazy, huge with lots of buildings, and like since then they've been standing unused. But now there is like a group of people, like a venture studio, some investors with support of the government. They're trying to make like a really huge event early next year, maybe about March, where they will be like reutilizing some buildings from this expo from 25 years ago and make a really huge, tremendous event, like and with the support of Junta Andalusia, like that's local government, and just make something amazing. Like there are lots of efforts, and everybody understands that in the modern world, like if a certain region wants to succeed, having healthy business is a must. So they're doing that. So of course, we're not trying to oppose, but we're trying to collaborate. Yeah.
I like it. What are the policies that Malaga has or the state of Andalusia has that makes it welcoming for startups, for entrepreneurs, for people to build in that region of the world?
Yeah. Yeah, that's a great one. Let's say there is federal government which defines most of the rules. So really, in this case, it's interesting that there are some basic laws like taxation rules and everything, and Andalusia has to follow what's out there. And we need to look at what Spanish government is doing. So Spanish government, they
Right.
have this startups law, and they keep iterating. The first version was like not so great, but then they had one or two extra editions, and they were better.
So they're building it like they're building it like a
Exactly. Yeah,
startup.
exactly. So they got this government institution called ENISA, which is helping, and they, as far as I recall, they're helping with grants, they're helping with startup visas. And then, speaking of visas, there are lots of expats, and there is like Malaga is maybe not unique, but let's say one of strong features of Malaga is that there are lots of expats with lots of knowledge coming in from different parts of the world, where people want to enjoy their life here, and then they come just for sun, let's say, but then they see, oh, something's happening. They start contributing, and we have people like, one could say this guy, he's a, let's say, grandfather of cybersecurity. He came from Silicon Valley and he lives here. They have some people behind some really huge deals. Exactly, everywhere, like all around the world. We know a guy. There was like a hilarious story. Like the guy in his life, I think he was speaking of one of our events. He did more than, I think, 100 of M&As, and he was on the accepting side, helping to integrate the companies inside. And he was working for huge corporations. And like, yeah, it's just like that's the level of people we're having here. Again, like we need to know each other to see how to combine that. So this again, what Malaga has, like kind of a very strong offering. We have lots of people with lots of knowledge who come here and they can share this knowledge. So we try to utilize that.
Do you feel that it's difficult to build a generational company by a beach?
Yeah, that's a good one.
Or actually, is it surprisingly easy to do?
That's a
Given
good
that,
one.
like you have all of these options to go out and do things, right? You can go and surf in the sea, or you can go do wind sports, and you can like spend time on the beach. And we both know that Malaga's Wi-Fi is actually surprisingly fast and probably better than the UK's in some areas. But I get the feeling that like, how are you going to build a company by a beach? Like, how is that even possible?
Like my first couple of weeks here in Spain, I spent them in Fuengirola. I was living like in the beach line, so to say. And like you have your 8 hours in a day, and then you walk out, and you have this half-naked people with beach umbrella, like burnt nose, sand here. You're like, this is not particularly like empowering environment for doing work, right? So like I feel what you were saying, absolutely. On the other side, right now outside is so freakingly hot that I'm not getting outside, and like during the summer you're not like, of course you can, you have the opportunity, but you don't go out there daily. You'd rather stay under AC and keep working. So like,
And so the weather actually forces
force
you
you
inside and
exactly,
forces you to work.
and it's perfect. So I have cold air, I have amazing views, and I have to work because I try to stay inside. But yeah, jokes
Dude,
aside.
this is why we love Europe.
Absolutely, man. And like the thing is, there are lots of areas in Malaga. It's a really good European city with a good history. And like, of course, if you're at the beach, it will like you'll be distracted. Let's put it this way. If you're inside, you just work in a working district. Yeah, it's cool, it's sun, but no, like you can absolutely work. And if you read about the news, if we read the news about what's happening outside, what's going on with all the companies coming in, they're like all the like even government has their own digest about all the kind of IT related and business related stuff happening. You keep reading, you're like, damn, I want to participate. And then like people jumping a little back, giving a nod back to our community. I do know people who stayed in the city because they found this community. They found, people who think like them. And they see, okay, something could be done. I can talk. Those are clients. Those are partners. We can create something together. So having this community, having all those news, again, transparency and connecting the dots, connecting, building the bridges between those islands, like it just inspires people. And the sun will really be helping you. Just, something stressful happening in your life at work, just walk out, you look at the sea, you look at the sun, you're like, life's not that bad.
So actually not a bad place to build a startup. Talk to me about what does the locale need to do to bring some of that talent closer to the city center, or at least bring the community together, and so that it feels that we can start turning that flywheel faster. Is it investors? Is it policy changes? Is it visa changes? Or is it something else completely?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. That's a good one. So let's say, what are the elements of the flywheel, right? So it's founders generating ideas, then let's say finding partners to validate this stuff, and then self-funded with small money, just generate an MVP, validate, and like it keeps working, working, working. Then you need to get proper funding, and then you just try to do something. So right now we've got the money. So they're investors. They're actually just they're trying to to find people who want to do something, who want to build something. So we have
So you
experts.
have access to capital.
Yeah, we
The
do.
pipes are there.
Absolutely.
The pipes are ready to be turned on. You just don't have enough people.
Exactly. So the inflow, that's the problem. So the founding side, let's say Spain historically has been really risk averse and but then this is changing. The new generation, they're being taught at university that you can take risks, you can build something great, and they start thinking about it. Then you have all the expats and these people. Like, imagine like a profile of somebody between 20 and 30. They're already making a move. They grew up somewhere else. They're making a move. It's like it's a big decision. So like, it makes you grow up faster than normal. And then you have these people. You have the growing generation, growing up generation, and everybody wants to do something. So there is something to work with, but these people need education. Somebody needs to inspire and tell them, this is possible, you can do that. So again, like we're trying to help, like we're working actively on a project. It's a boot camp program for 3 months where we take about 16 people and just work with them super closely every single week and help them get educated on everything a startup founder needs. Again, involving the experts we have in the community and like inviting people with like really cool history and knowledge. And then ideally, like when this thing starts working, we'll be, publishing, let's say, where we'll be releasing 16 new founders every quarter. And like this is
And so you're actually trying to build almost like a founder factory
yeah,
and then also at the other end build a pipeline for access to capital, and you can just turn on the pipes and go, right, we have all of these ideas and we have these products that are ready to go, whether that's hardware or software, and we have access to capital and VCs and angels that are ready to invest, and let's make sure that we can connect the two parties quickly, reliably,
absolutely,
and consistently.
absolutely. Yeah, that's the plan. That's the plan. And then like it can take a shape of an incubator or a startup studio or whatever. But like there is talent, there is money, there are like big hopes and dreams. We can just make it all connected and make it work.
Does all of that capital come from Marbella, or does it come from abroad as well?
Like, yeah, it's of course a bit of an oversimplification saying it's all in Marbella. Like we have quite a few investors living right here in Malaga. We had a good friend. He's an owner of a VC fund from New York. He just decided to come here and live here for better life. And yeah, there are people, even some connections from Madrid, so they're coming once in a while, and there are kind of investor gatherings, and then you get people from all around the world, even from UK, some Polish people, and of course north of Europe. They love Spain, south of Spain. So like yeah, and then they land some. Yes, so they are here in Marbella, in Malaga, maybe in Rincon. Like they just set in where it makes sense. And yeah, let's say there are lots of money sources here.
I like it. It's almost a precursor to an incubator. You're building the boot camp
Yep.
to begin with the goal of building the incubator and then the accelerator and then the factory that you could start churning out founders with, almost like YC.
Exactly. Yeah, that's the plan. And it's a logical way of how you build a system like that, an ecosystem like that. And yeah, we just try to help from our side, contribute as much as we can. And yeah, like we keep pushing. We see the results over the past 2 years, and just with the same level of effort, we're like involving volunteers. We think it can get to something really interesting.
Awesome. I think I'm on board, right? Like we both spent time there. It makes a lot of sense.
Absolutely.
You can have the fun in the sun, and then you can work hard and play hard on the other side, right?
Perfect combination.
How long do you think this is going to take? Is this a 5-year play, a 10-year play, a 15-year play, or is it something it's almost another generation that you have to go through, and that starts today?
Let's say it started several years ago, even before I came to Malaga, but it keeps working. Not a generation, definitely. It will come faster. So let's say if we're talking about like let's say we need a year. We need a year to build some foundation of founders who can do stuff. and then they take from 1 to 3 years to build something. So like it's reasonable to expect some reasonable activity here in the city in maybe 2 or 3 years. But right now it's like early stage, and it's like a blue ocean, let's say. Like you like, really just using the startup analogy here, you can come and do something because there's so much potential, so many good people, and like it will grow up either way. You can just contribute or not, but like we're choosing to contribute and help it all. So yeah,
And
to,
what I love is like you've got some great companies around you, right? I'm sure the technology park, there's some. You've got Google down by the port. You've got Pika Labs, and they can share the credits and then build an ecosystem that they can help invest in as well, I assume.
Of course, of course. Yeah, we're talking to the likes of Oracle and Google on how we can build something. So, of course, they're looking at Madrid first of all, but also they need local talent. So we're kind of we're in the process of opening this door. Okay, so not there yet, but there are some really interesting approaches we can use in this. And like, yeah, Google has program for startups, Oracle has program for startups, like combining in all of it, like we can help it grow. And like this is a really great point that big companies coming here, they cannot be just greedy and like hunting for talent and not giving back. It only works if there is like give and take. And like we see some cooperation, and like and we expect even more from companies. It's not like they came to an unknown planet where they build their outpost and they just like live there like without any contribution. No, they come and join it. They come and join the like living organism of society and the ecosystem. So we're working with them and collaborating to see how they can contribute, and we're happy to contribute back and like again providing all the knowledge and access to community and everything. So it's an ongoing process for us.
That ongoing process, is it quite give and take? Are you seeing that on the ground? Or is it one way right now with you trying to pitch them?
Let's say 70% from our side, 30% from their side. So, but we are pushing it to be more balanced, like 50-50. But they're like definitely not us just trying to ban at a closed door. No, like they're reaching out actively and also just trying to do something. So I see really good, like good intentions, really good
And
intentions here.
and locally, is the government quite pro innovation, pro go and try, pro go take a risk? It's not just being taught at university, but the rules and the policies actually allow for that.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So they're trying, definitely they're trying. There were some local governmental programs on how to land in Malaga, how to move your company. There is like a department working in Ayuntamiento, like local government working that on specifically landing external companies to Malaga, and they've been pretty successful. They're actually the ones who brought Oracle and Google, so they do have some success. Okay, so it's not
Love it.
just yeah, of course. And like these guys, I know they're traveling, they're talking to like the delegation has been to, as far as I recall, to Korea, and they've been in Riyadh. So like there was like lots of collaboration, and they're definitely doing their part. Absolutely. And they, as we say, they're building the soil. They're like providing the soils and like, hey, here you got the seeds, you got the rakes, but it's us, the community, that should come in and just like use all of that provided and try to grow something. The government will not be doing startups for you. It's still people who should come and take the lead, right?
I agree. Do you think there are any bets that you can make on if $1 billion company comes out of Malaga in the next decade?
In the next decade, I think yes, absolutely. Like not next year,
Multiple billion, but
multiple billion. Yeah, let's say speaking outside of Malaga, I'm not sure how the world would look like in 5 years from now with all the AI
yeah,
and
this is
like
true.
absolutely, you don't know anything how it will unfold. It can be completely crazy and like there are multiple scenarios, but like yeah, let's say if we follow the optimistic scenario and like people are actually empowered by AI and like everyone is a creative builder just by like reduction of costs of building and providing access to creating to way more people, people who have ideas that were a bit limited previously. Like yeah, naturally you'll have lots of ideas being implemented, and we have a higher chance of getting a 1 billion company.
I love it. This felt like a call for startups, for people to move to Malaga and go build in an incredible place with incredible people, but also have a good life as well, right? Like I think we talk about work-life balance. It's not, it's just life.
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
just go do it. Just go do it. Go do it in a great place. Go do it with great people. Go do it in a place where there's less competition so you can build something incredible, right?